I just remembered, what am I gonna do for soil? All the stores are closed, and all I've got is this little bit of soil here. I need more soil than that if I'm gonna do a little bit of carrots and things like that. So what am I gonna do? Oh, I got it. You know what I found out a long time ago. I started gardening about 3 years ago. And what I found out is that God had provided everything in nature. After the fall of man, the trees, everything started to die. Man started to die. So the death process was started. And through the death process, we have what we need, everything that we need. So I don't need to go to the store for anything. Everything that I need, I can grow a far better looking tree than any one of you guys. You can go to the store and get any chemicals you want. And by God's grace, I will show you the way God intended for us to grow. And you would have the best fruits, sweeter, plumper, fatter than anyone that uses any kind of fertilizer, any kind of chemicals that man has given. Because God's way is always the right way. So let me show you God's fertilizer. Bang! I've got a bucket, a big bucket full of leaves that I picked up from under the mango trees. And as you see, I've been raking up more of them here, so I can gather them to put them, use my fertilizer. Now you see with this also, I'll be using some of that stuff in my compost heap, with my, hey, how you doing? Along with my rotten fruits and all of that stuff. I have a bucket whereby I've started composting inside that. As long as I'm trapped in the city, might as well started doing something. So what I've done is I put my fruit shavings inside that, and then I throw leaves inside that, and whatever tree branches, not too big, small ones that can easily rot down. And I'll put some soil on that, and then put some water on that, and then cover it to help it to rot down faster. And if you have a tap or something, that the heat, from the sun can help it to rot even faster. But this is my compost. I'm going to put this there on top of that, and then I'm going to use some water, and I'm going to water this all down to keep that ground nice and moist. So I'm going to start putting my trees and the little trees that I have that I've sprouted. I'm going to start putting them in the ground around the time of the full moon. Now the ideal time to be transplanting or trying to grow seed is around the time of the full moon, and that's 3 days before and 3 days after. It's also scientifically been proven. If you check whenever the full moon is out, that is the most likely time that you will get rain. The air has more water inside it, and tide is even high. So water is closer to the surface of the ground. So increases the chances of you catching a plant or a plant catching. So, those are a few little tips that you can take when gardening. And by God's grace, I'll come back, and like I said, I'll try and do more stuff. I'm combining the gardening, which is exercise, with the laws of life to help us. By teaching you, I learn more. I learn more and more every day. So I don't mind teaching people what I know. Even though people don't want to pay for it, it's fine. I'll still teach you, because in teaching you, I learn. And by God's grace, He will continue to empower me that I will be able to learn even more and I can teach even more. So have a good day. And hey, this is a good way also. Let me give you this last little hint before I go. This is a good way because we know that the fruits and vegetables in the food store, we don't know where they come from. So, I would say they're not as wholesome as they could or should be. So we don't get the benefit from them that we need in terms of, our health. So if you're planting fruits and vegetable trees, there's a way that council give for us to put a tree in the ground, a fruit tree. And then there's a way for vegetable trees. It's a little bit different for both of those ways. But with a careful study of the word, you'll find out. And putting down a fruit tree is not an easy task. Okay, the vegetables are far easier to manage. It takes far less time, and most of it is preparation, preparing the better. Once you have prepared the better, like what I did, you didn't see some of the things that I did, but let me take the opportunity to tell you. Um, Let me walk around there because this is just regular, you know, in between the house. So what I did is I pull out all the weeds first, and when I pull up all the weeds, what I did is I then took some of those weeds and I put them like, you know, on the side to let them dry out because I want to put them right back on top of that land to create more soil. So as you can see, this is basically, you know, you can see some of the paint that fell off the house is mixing inside and wood and stuff. You know, I try to rake out as much as I can, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Eventually, most of those stuff will rot into the ground. I don't want to use any chemicals. I'm an organic farmer. I farm strictly natural, nothing whatsoever, no kind of chemicals, nothing like that. I don't believe in the things. I believe that what God has given is sufficient for the survival of man, is more than what we need. And so, by God's grace, you know, you get to see some of the fruits of my labor that God has shown. And by His grace, you will learn a little something from this also. Um, and like I said, what I've done is after I pull up all the weeds, I watered it, and then I grabbed a little axe and then I till up the soil, you know, wake it up, you know, turn it over. As you can see right here, and turn it over. And then what I'm going to do now is cover it with leaves like I've started doing here. I'm going to cover all of it with leaves. And I have those rocks there. That's a section of different areas in which I want to plant different kind of vegetables. Okay. So after I would have put in all these, the leaves straight along here to cover this area, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet it again. And then it will remain moist because the leaves will prevent the sun from drying out the land, the ground. And I also put a little salt there. Now you have to know how to mix the salt. You mix the salt 10 to 1. Okay, that's sea salt to get the minerals in the ground so that will help your fruits. Okay, that is, you have to mix that correctly or it will kill your plants or burn them. Okay, and that is supposed to be done every so often. But that is the first step that you didn't get to see. So from now on, you know, I'll just be putting the leaves in today, and I'll do the rest of this leaves straight along here. And I'm gonna be waiting for 3 days before the moon, which I think should be Sunday. I think Saturday is the first day before the full moon, because I think a full moon is supposed to be on Monday, which is the 7th, which is my birthday. Yeah. So I hope by God's grace to, you know, have this done before then. Well, this is nothing. So I'm going to finish this today. This is nothing. But I have some plants already sprouted. So I'm going to put them in. I have some sweet peppers. I'm going to put them in first. And then I'm going to sprout some other stuff. Like I said, some cantaloupe and honeydew. And I'm going to put them in here also. So, and then a little bit of herbs. As I get them, I'll go to the food store, purchase stuff that, and I'll show you what I purchase and how I can use them again to plant. So I can purchase them one from the food store and then keep getting, like I have a celery that I purchased. All I just cut the head off and stick it in some water to get it spring out roots. Once the roots came out, I put it in a pot and now it's growing. So I'm going to stick that in here also. And then you can just pull off one stalk at a time and use it. And it'll just keep replacing itself so you'll have celery forever. Okay. Anyway, have a good day and enjoy the rest of enjoy the rest of your day. From the prodigal.